Hello, everybody, and welcome here to the Wine with Jimmy channel. Thank you for stopping by. This is all about wine education, and my videos very closely follow key text and syllabus so you get the right information for your own knowledge, but perhaps, of course, if you are studying the world of wine. And welcome to a series here for Portugal. So this follows the syllabus of the WSET Diploma Level 4. So this is a series looking at the Alentejo, and this is, there you are, series 6 of the Portuguese story. And we split this into 3 sections. So this video is available as free content here on my YouTube channel. Parts 2 and 3, looking at the key grape varieties and key wine styles, are only available to those of you who subscribe to my e-learning platform. That's over at www.winewithjimmy.com. You'll find all the information there to register for the e-learning platform. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of exclusive videos there, and also teaching resources, lots of learning resources to be found there. If you do have any comments or questions on this video, perhaps you love Portuguese wine, you visit there frequently, you go to the Alentejo, or you drink these wines, then please do get in touch by commenting on this video below. So first of all, let's talk about the Alentejo region. So the large Alentejo region actually goes across a lot, as you can see from that map, most of southern or southeastern Portugal. It borders a lot of Spain, and that's to the east. It borders the southerly region of the Algarve and its mountains to the south, and then around areas like the Tejo and also the Setúbal Peninsula as well. Now, given its size, it's about 23,000 hectares. Most famously here, as the first slide showed you, is cork plantations for the production of cork, which of course is used most commonly for bottle closures. But of course, we find a lot of vineyards down here as well. We have quite close proximity to Lisbon, which is off to the west on the Atlantic. And with this close proximity to the capital city, the region is strongly focused on wine tourism. Now, a number of estates having designer wineries with large cellar doors and often producing a range of other products such as olive oil, Iberian ham, were very much sort of pioneered in the 90s. And we have very successful businessmen such as Jose Roquette of Esparral and João Portugal Ramos as well, that you'll find in this area. So you find that this area is very much tailored towards Lisbon, but there is a marked move towards sort of exports as well. So what about the climatic conditions here? So it's Mediterranean. It has hot, dry summers and mild winters. And the most inland parts of the region have, of course, the most extreme temperatures. So on the Spanish border, as you go towards the Spanish region of Extremadura, for example, the extreme and hard part of Spain, gives you an idea of the extremity that we find climatically here. Now, the annual rainfall of the region is around 500 millimeters in the south and around 800 millimeters per year in the north, mainly falling autumn to winter, as one would expect in a Mediterranean climate. With the long periods of dry weather, drip irrigation is widely adopted, as you see in your picture there at Tapara de Colleros. The geology here. So the landscape is generally made up of plains or gentle slopes, but there are some mountains in the north and the south and the east of the region. Remember, that's a really large expanse that covers pretty much most of southeast Portugal. Now, there's a wide range of soils, including granite, schist, limestone, with textures that range from very sandy to more sort of clumpy clay. Here is some limestone found at the Cortes de Cima in the Viticulture area. So you do get a whole gambit of soils found here in the region. Now, most vineyards are trained and trellised to the double cordon with vertical shoot positioning, as you see in your picture. Now, replacement cane systems are actually gradually declining here, and that's because of the need with that system of training for skilled labor during pruning. You've got to remember that the Alentejo is in fact one of the most sparsely populated parts of Portugal, so the access to labor is actually quite diminished. So, one thing you won't hear much discussion around is, in fact, the subregions. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about this, which will certainly help you when you visit the region or in case for your studies as well. Now, the DOC is split into 8 non-contiguous subregions, so they are not all together. They are spread out. Some of them are connected, but not all of them. Now, covering the same land, there is a DOC called Vinho de Tala, Talha, which was introduced in 2010 for wines fermented on their skins in the Tala, Talha, the amphora. This is a very traditional production method, making some beautiful wines in somewhat of a renaissance that we are finding across many parts of the world for amber or orange wine production, as they may be known. The Vino Regional de Alentejo is commonly used by producers that source grapes from outside these 8 subregions. So you may see Alentejo, but we're talking about Alentejo. The DOC here splits into these 8 areas. Let's discuss those. First of all, we have Portalegre. This is the most original subregion with predominantly granitic and granitic schistous soils. It's influenced by the freshness of the mountain range here, the Serra de Sar Mamed. Now, the landscape offers numerous plots of old vines planted on steep slopes of the mountain, benefiting from a unique microclimate that confers kind of freshness and complexity. It's often where a lot of kind of real wine enthusiasts that are in the pursuit of elegance in wine are sourcing wines from in the Alentejo. Then we're going to group 4 of the subregions: Borba, Evora, Redondo, and also Reguengos. They embody the identity of classic Alentejo. This is a land of balance and harmony. On your map there, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you get the right proportion here between freshness and fruit, energy and softness. Borba, which is number 2 on your map, is located just to the south of Portalegre, but it's north of the Redondo subregion, which is number 4. It was the first subregion in Alentejo to gain international attention for the quality of its wines. Evora, which is number 3, is the capital. The city itself is the capital of the Alentejo wine region. Now, located in the center is Redondo. That's surrounded by the vast Alentejo plains and also the beautiful mountain range here called the Serra d'Ossa. One can see the cork tree woods and the large wineries in this landscape. And the final 3 are grouped to the south. This is Granja Amareja, Mora, and Vidiguera that we saw earlier. So this is where we find warmer and softer conditions, well, warmer and softer wines within the poor and dry landscape. Now, Granja Amarelleja is centered on the town of Morao in the Alentejo area. We get schistous soils here, so this is number 6 on your map, and you get bold, full-bodied, spicy red wines found here. Mora is centered around the town of the same name, and that's in the southern section on cool red clay soils, which gives you a longer ripening. You get a grainier tannin to these wines, which are quite interesting. And then we have Vidiguera, which is on volcanic bases and granitic. You tend to get real good aromatics in the wines from that area. That's number 7 as it goes towards the coast. So what about the wine business here? So commercially, Alentejo has larger sales in Portugal than any other Portuguese region, with 37% of the domestic market by volume and 40% by value, as your pie chart suggests there. Alentejo wines also claim 20% of total Portuguese wine exports to places like Brazil, Angola, the US, Switzerland, and Canada. Now, in 2017, the production of Alentejo DOC was about 510,000 hectolitres, rising to nearly 600,000 in 2018. And that's the reverse of trends seen in the north of Portugal. Likewise, the production of the Aletejano Vino Regional has increased from around 410,000 to 480,000 in those same years, one year after the other. So an increase in both DOC and Vino Regional. And producers as well. So compared to many other Portuguese wine regions, Alentejo is actually an area of large land ownership. With its high sunshine hours, dry summers, and relatively flat topography, with its expansive plains and estates, you'll see a lot of quite well-equipped estates, cost-effective, high volume, with mechanized viticulture and European Union funding. And that means that you're able to have that market here, large land ownership with the access to the Lisbon market. So in 1995, there were 45 producers, as you see on your chart, with about 13,500 hectares. In 2019, we're up to 285 producers with almost 22,000 hectares. So you are getting close to doubling the number, just under. Vineyards tend to be relatively young and sizable, of course. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time and attention. That's part 1 of Alentejo complete through the introduction, grape growing, and wine business. Please do join me for part 2, where we talk about the key red wines and its grape varieties. This part, including part 3 after as well, will only be available to those of you who subscribe to my e-learning platform. That's over at www.winewithjimmy.com. You'll see that in the description below this video at the bottom of your slide. And as I just mentioned, lots of exclusive video content and also extra learning resources for all of these wine regions. And please, if you do find yourself in the UK, come and say hello for a class, glass, or bottle. I've been Jimmy Smith. Ciao for now. Goodbye.